showing over here. Yeah, now it is showing. Yeah, this session is being recorded. Okay. Thanks, Sally, for starting the recording. Okay.
Okay,
So,
thank you.
yeah, welcome, Sally. So, guys, let us start our session for today. Excuse me. So, today, guys, basically, we will be having a look at the contract templates. Why? Because in the previous uh, weekend, what we have seen is like we have seen the contract management process over there. Now, first of all, same thing applies before you go to any uh, contract template configuration in any implementation project and you do it over there. Same thing will apply over there. That is the department. Department is single most important thing for the sourcing template configuration. Same thing for the what? Same thing for the contract templates too. That means, let's say your client is having 7 departments, and out of the 7 departments, bare minimum templates which you have to design is 7 different templates for different department. Now, for a complex project, obviously for each department, what will happen? The templates will multiply. So some clients will say, I need templates for a single department, or what template for a department. So depending upon that, that many number of template configuration or customization you have to do. That's the first thing. Second thing over here, guys, make sure that departments over here, if you recall previous weekend session over here, department over here will not be pre-filled. Can any of you take a guess why? Because when we will be in the contact creation screen, we will not fill the department. Then you should be asking me, Manoj, how come, based on the department we will be seeing the templates? That's a valid question. So take a guess, guys. Why we will never fill the departments within the contract creation screen, but still we will be able to see the template which is department specific. Any guess, guys? Correct. Totally correct over here. Why? Because when we were creating the sourcing project, there we will be giving what? Department is always mandatory, right? As I told you from the first session. And the second thing is, like, if you are having SLP commodity code and region, this particular thing is also mandatory, right? So when you give all this thing within the sourcing project, automatically, whenever you are creating a contract from the sourcing project, this data will come to your contract automatically. You don't have to fill these particular things up. That's the first thing. Okay. So that is why we don't have to give all this particular information. Still, the template will be visible. Now that's the first thing. Second thing, whenever we want to go and do this particular configuration, guys, where we will do, what is the navigation path for doing this template configuration? Any guess, guys? Correct. That means manage, then go to templates. Now, once you go into the templates, let us refresh a little bit things. Why? Because these are very small things, but most of the participants generally forget this thing whenever they will go to the project. And why? Because they will call me up and say, hey Manoj, like there is something wrong with this uh Ariba system in my client implementation project. And I will say, why? Yeah, I'm not getting this template section within my uh, manage functionality. So basically, you will be needing some specific role. Which role are required to access template over here, guys? Any guess? I'm not saying the admin. It's like normal users only. Two normal roles is required to access the template. What do you think, guys? What are those two things? Okay, let me answer it. I think there is some. Correct, correct, correct. So basically, the first one is template user slash template creator. That's the first thing. Second one is template editor. These two are, yeah, you're correct, Diksha. These two are what? These two are the non-admin roles which you require so that you can go inside and at least create or edit your templates. That's the first thing. Okay. And there is another role called as template manager. Now, why this particular role is not given to generally all the users? Because template manager means what you will do is like, you can delete any template. You can delete anybody else's template. So generally to avoid that thing, only these two roles are given. So what will happen is like only those customized templates which you are creating from your ID, you will only have the delete option. Otherwise, let's say I am having the template manager role. You have created your customized template from your ID. I will also have the delete option. Why? Because I'm the admin users over there. So this particular thing is only given for two guys. One guy will be from the client side. That particular person will be the what you can say core team member, CTM, or basically in other language you will call that particular person as SPOC, single point of contact for SAP Ariba implementation from the client side. That particular person will have it, and from your service provider company or service implementation partner, the team lead of Ariba or the module lead of Ariba will have that particular access. Nobody else. Nobody else will be having that particular access. Okay. So let us go into the system and check how and what are the different things we can do within the contract template configuration. So first of all, what we will do, first of all, we will just go into the manage. We'll click on the templates. Okay. Then scroll down, click on the contract templates. Just a moment, guys. Okay. Now, first of all, before you see anything over here, there will be two kinds of folders over there, basically templates. What it is saying, contract workspace professional, contract workspace basic. What do we mean by these things? So guys, any views or any uh, what you can say, any guess that what's the difference between a basic, what's the difference between a professional? Guys, am I audible to all of you? Can you please confirm? Yeah, correct. I think Venkatesh, I think there is some problem with your, I think what you can say, with your mic. It is not appearing over here. Just let me just type in over here. Just a moment, guys. Okay. Uh, so what's the difference between a basic workspace and a professional contract workspace? So always remember, guys, many people think that in basic we will put the standard, in professional we will put the customized templates. It's actually they think like, the basic is for standard templates and the professional is for customized template. No, it is not like that. Remember, basic means if you're working with a basic template over here, you will not get all those questionnaire. Which questionnaire? Does this contract requires suppliers paper? Do this contract requires vice president's approval? These two questions were there, right? That particular questions will not be there within the basic template. In professional templates, those two questions will be there. So that means if you want to do a basic process where your client is saying, hey, I don't need to use suppliers terms and condition, I will use my terms and condition over here. So in that scenario, you will implement contract workspace basic. But if your client is saying there might be a chance, sometimes I will need to use my terms and condition, sometimes I need to use suppliers terms and condition too. So in that particular scenario, what you need to do? Then you need to use the professional. So always keep this thing in mind, guys. Always. Okay. Why? Because whenever you will go and do this implementation project over there, so once you get the Ariba system over there, you will be able to notice that particular difference. And this is where you can use this particular means like there will be particular use cases as I have you know told right now. For basic, if you want to use always the client's terms and condition, that is the most suitable template. For professional, if sometimes the client is going to use supplier's terms and condition and the other times buyer is also going to use their terms and condition, then use the contract workspace professional, nothing else. That means basically what will happen, only two extra questions will be there, and based upon the question what will happen, you don't have to do the configuration, that is already being done within the standard configuration. That means there will be two more extra tasks in the professional versus basic. In the basic, there will be two tasks less compared to the professional. That's it, and nothing else. But remember, this is not customizable or not configurable. That means it's not to be done from our side, it has to be done from SAP Ariba side. Just a moment. Okay, now first of all, guys, which template to select? How I will know which template is a standard template? Any guess, guys? Correct, correct, guys, correct. Yeah, that means the owner should be Ariba system. So how I will know? Here, if I go, see, there is a one thing which is coming over here, contract workspace. So what do you mean by contract workspace? It's a template only name, but its owner is Ariba system. Immediately I can tell that this particular contract workspace template is nothing but a standard template. So I will do what? I will click on this particular template. I will click on copy. Don't click on open and try to edit it. Why? Because system will not let you do it. For okay. Now what I am doing over here, contract HR department specific template. I have renamed my custom template and I will click on OK. Okay. So where is our thing? Just a moment. See here it is coming over here. Contract HR department specific template. Now you click on open. Just a moment, guys. Just a moment. Yeah. Now first of all, as we will see over here, this is basically the template. Now, first of all, most of you will be thinking, hey, Manoj, what is this particular thing? It is much different, much different means based on what? Based on your sourcing template, you will be what you will be doing is like you will be thinking of comparing this contract template. Once you compare this particular thing, what next? So where you will do that? Any difference, guys? So guys, can any of you remember what is the difference in the look of this particular template with the sourcing template? Ah, correct, 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 guys. So basically, there was only two tabs, right? Only two tabs in the sourcing template. One is the overview, another one is the condition. And within the overview only, you were able to see document, task, okay, and other things over here only. But here it is not coming like this. You can see the document is coming in a different way, task is coming in a different way, team is coming in a different way over here, condition is coming in a different way. Advanced option was also present over there, it is also present over there, but advanced option was present through the history tab and nothing else. Similarly, history tab is present over here, okay, and spin tab is coming. Now first of all, guys, why spin tab is coming in contract? Why not sourcing over here? What do you think, guys? Why spin is coming? Any guess, guys? Aha. Now remember, spend means what? Spend means you are spending the money. So basically, in sourcing, you can say whatever money you want. You can give whatever quotation you can give. But where will be the final price coming in the upstream part? It will be coming in the contract part only. So that is why Ariba is saying that automatically for anything related to contract, spend. That means spend means how much money it is being spent over there will be shown over here. Now, guys, first of all, I think all of you should be asking me, Manoj, what is the need of spend tab in the template? Because actually it does not have any significance. Why? The question is why, guys? Why there is no significance over here? Because there is no significance over here. If you look at the spend tab over here, it will take some time, then it will come, but it will show you the total value. See, this is the spend and this is the total spend. Okay, and nothing else. Why? Because remember, spend part is generally it is used for reporting functionality. When you will be creating a contract, if you remember previous week, there was one uh, field over there. What was that particular field? Something related to spend. Uh, what was that? Yeah, spend value or something like that. I think there was that. If we selected yes, then what will happen? The value of the spend of this particular contract will reflect in the reporting, and if it is no, then it will not be reflecting on the spend side, but still the contract will be reflecting within the reporting section. So that is why over here spend is there, but it is just for showing information that this is the total spend done for all the contract within your Ariba system. Here it does not add any value in the template. Okay, but to get the full functionality over here, you have to go to the reporting section. Where? In the reporting section. Now in the reporting section, you will see all the contracts and their spends and the total spend, contract wise spend, all those things will be there. So remember, spend tab in contract management or contract template, it does not add any value over there. Only within the contract creation screen, that option yes or no has to be selected. But this will affect where? This will affect in your reporting sections. Okay. Keep that thing in your mind, guys. And apart from this thing, there is no other things you can do over here. Okay. Now, first of all, if you are able to remember what was the first thing which we did in our what you can say sourcing template configuration, guys. Can any of you basically what we added the condition for department, where obviously here where we will do. Now I will go over here. Yeah, click on add condition, and here I will click on department specific visibility for the template. Next field match we will choose over here. Then we will choose what? The department. Now here think of the department, HR department like this particular person. Why? Because see, this is a training server over here, guys, and the particular person who did this data loads, he did it according to his own thinking. Okay, so that is why it is coming like this. But remember, in real time scenario, You will not be getting name over there, you will be getting the department like IT, HR, finance, all of those things. Okay, now we have created the condition. Now where this condition has to be attached, we have to attach this particular condition to somewhere else, right? Where? Okay, overview. Now in overview, where, guys? Correct. In the overview, there is a thing called as condition. Here, always make sure, click on this one and don't change anything else. See, these two are already selected. Contract basic authorized only, region is not Africa. Please don't change anything. Just select your condition which is there. Okay. Why? Because I'm not just saying this out of some superstitious value. I'm saying this because it is having some specific value or specific things. Why? Because see, we have copied this template from which template? A standard template, right? So from the standard template, we have given this particular copy option. Okay. Once you give this particular copy option, what will happen is like all the standard related basic things which is present, it will be present over there. So if you remove the standard specific condition over here, then what will happen? There will be a lot of issues over there. Okay, so always remember that whatever condition is present over there, let it be. Don't change anything. Along with that, select your own condition which you have selected, which you have created over here. Once it is done, that means your template visibility has been controlled. Then you can begin with your configuration of each and everything over here. Now, before I go into the document and tasks things, and I will make you understand what are those things, let us go to the team section over here. Now, why? Because remember, sourcing project team is a little bit different from the contract project team. Why? Why it is so? Because you will notice over here that in sourcing project, team generally means it will be one, only the evaluators can change. Sometimes evaluators will also be the same. But here in the contract side, what are the two basic things which we will do within the contract process? So basically, in the process, means like end-to-end contract process, there were two main jobs, right? Which I said. So first job was contract authoring, second was contract tasking. So in contract publishing. So in contract publishing, what we was doing, we were just marking the task as completed. But before that, contract authoring was there. So in certain project, when you will go, what will happen is like, not all the project, guys. Some project client will say my contract authoring team will be different. Okay, and contract creator, that means the person who is creating this contract, will complete all the task, but my contract authoring team will be different. Basically, they will be belonging from the legal team only, or junior legal team. Okay, but remember, this is not the basic, or why this is not the widely used case. The widely used case, I will come back later on that part. Today only I will tell you, I will show you the thing. But remember, this is an exceptional process. Some 25 to 30% client might say to you that my contract authoring team will be different from the contract creation and contract publishing team. So what will happen over there? How you can do that particular thing? Why? Because they will say over their client that contract authoring team will be legal team and nothing else. You just need to click on action, click on team members over here, click on edit. Once you click on edit over here, so in the contract author screen, what I will do, I will put legal, click on search more, okay, and see automatically legal is present. I will select the legal, done, click on OK. Now automatically you can see within the contract authoring team, legal is coming as the member. So what do you mean over here, guys? That means, let's say I am creating a contract authoring team, and let's say Eraj is present within the legal team group, or basically legal team role. Sorry, what will happen? Who would be able to author the contract documents, or basically update, upload, and publish the contract documents? Who, Eraj or me, or both of us? Take your guess, guys. Ah, correct. Totally correct, guys. Only Era should be able to do it. Now, generally, why I am showing this thing, because most of the participants do this mistake. Then what will happen is like, then your client will say, hey, for exceptional cases, if the legal team is not present, okay, okay, now I am the contract owner. I want to do the authoring. I will not be able to do it. So whenever you will do the configuration for team members, always remember one thing, that you click on this action as edit, and in the contract author you click on add more, okay, and here click on search more, okay, sorry, not this one. You put both of this to user ID. Now all of you will be asking me, Manoj, why? But before answering that, I will tell you, this particular project owner over here is totally wrong. Why? Because here neither this particular user ID will be there, okay, neither this particular user ID will be there. Okay, generally even Ariba system generally should not be kept over here as the project owner over here. Only your user ID, that means the template creator name will only come over here and nothing else. Okay, so contract author part I am coming over here, guys. But why in the project owner name you're giving your ID? But before telling the answer or taking the guess over here, guys, first of all, PN1 user 3, this is my user ID. Did I anytime put my user ID over here, or it was appearing straight out of the box? What do you think over here, guys? Yeah, correct. Because it was appearing straight. We were not entering this thing. So always remember, in the project system, never put any other user ID. Never put Ariba system user ID. Only put your user ID. Why? Because system will automatically make you the project owner. Why? Because you are creating, you are responsible for this template. Okay, but that does not mean, if let's say you are using some other, user ID. Okay, and you are creating a contract from this particular contract template. Now don't think PN1 user 3 will be the project owner. Project owner will be your ID only. That is why. But if you put Ariba system or another user ID, so what will happen is like Ariba system does not add any value. But if you put another user ID over there, what will happen is like that user will also become the administrator by default. So he or she can also change the whole contract as well as do the work of the administrator also. So generally, if those things are needed to be done, do it at the contract level, not at this particular level. Okay. So first of all, in the project owner, only keep your ID, rest, remove the rest of the things. And in the contract author, why I have put contract agent and contract administrator apart from the legal team? Because remember, as I said in previous sessions, that generally the project owner or the contract creator will have which role? Basically contract agent, and all the other administrator guys will be having contract administrator role. So basically legal team will have the authorization to change the documents. Contract agent by default are the contract creator, they will also have that particular authorization. And the third one is contract administrator. Now why you will keep the contract administrator? You need to have a foolproof reason. Because remember guys, from the client side also you will be having some contract administrator. Same thing for sourcing also, they are called as sourcing administrator. Same thing in P2P also, they are called as purchasing administrator. Why? Because somehow some guy make a mistake and the time has ended. So who can change the time? The administrator guys, right? The normal end user, they will be having only agent role. They cannot change this thing. So ultimately they will go to the administrator. So administrator will ultimately release the document back or extend the timelines of the document. Once it has been done, then the end user can do it. So sometimes end user will say to the administrator, if you are having time, please extend the timelines. Along with that, please do one thing, that is, I forgot to publish my document. I have uploaded it. Please publish them. So that is why it is always keep this thing in mind, guys, that whenever this particular contract author team you're going to edit, keep legal. Let's say your client's requirement is legal, mostly it is legal, so it will be legal only. Along with legal, keep the contract agent and contract administrator also. Okay, these three are nothing but roles. Remember, many participants think these are actually users. These are not actually users, guys. These are roles, or in Ariba terminology, these are user groups, nothing else. Okay, why I have told all this thing? Because remember, this is required over here. Now we are talking about the 20 to 25% of the exceptional scenario. What about the 70 to 75% of the exceptional scenario? They will say no, contract author generally the project owner would be able to do, or if project owner wants to assign this particular job to somebody else within the contract level also, project owner can give another group that particular job. How? Within the team section they will go in the contract author, automatically their name will be present, their ID will be present, they can select anybody else's ID. That's it. But in real life scenario, why I am saying these things are not used mainly like 75 to 80% of the time? Because your client will say that when the final approval for contract is happening, first contract approver will approve the contract, second one will be legal team, third one would be finance team, and the fourth one will be vice president. So these are the four levels of approval. So ultimately legal team and finance team are verifying the contract, then only it is published. So that is why 75 to 70% of the client, they will say, I don't need this, I don't need to change this particular team members. But the rest of the 20 to 25% client sometimes will be stubborn. They will be quite stubborn. Even if you give up, give a very good explanation, if you try to make them understand this is for your benefit only we are doing this, they will not understand. They will say, I need to do this thing. So in that case, use this particular logic, guys. Okay. Okay. Next is the documents. Uh, guys, give me a moment over here. Give me some, two, three, uh, 2, 3 minutes over here. I'm just getting a call over here. Yeah. Thank you, guys. We are taking a very small break of 2, 3 minutes, guys. I'm just taking a call. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, guys, are you able to hear me? Yeah, thanks for the confirmation, guys. So, first of all, when you are seeing these particular documents over here, what do you think? Because in the last sourcing template configuration, what we did basically, basically in that particular document, we configured the sourcing rules, right? So the same thing we will do it over here, contract rules. But before answering that, guys, uh, what different rules did we see in the process? Was there any rules present over there in the process, contract process? Correct. No. Why? Because if you see over there, bidding specific rules are for used for what? Basically for breaking the tie bids, for automatically extension, extension of the submission end line, end date and time, and some other things like that. But over here in contract, there is all those things are not required. Why? Because those things has been done previously in the sourcing part. So here within the documents, mainly what we capture the terms and condition which is present within the main agreement .doc file, because it's a word document file. Okay, and the second one over there is pricing. Basically, what do you mean by pricing over here? Pricing means what? Pricing means pricing means the different line item information as well as price. That's the first thing. Okay, so what we will do over here, remember guys, I think from very starting I told all of you that in the template we cannot put specific things. So what things we will be putting over here? Mainly in the main agreement, as I said, you have to go to the client and you have to ask them, hey, please give me your general terms and condition. Here you cannot say to the client, hey, please give your laptop, uh, for terms and condition for the laptop procurement, terms and condition for printer procurements. No, you have to take the terms and condition as a general from your client. Generally from where you will get, there will be two sources. Either your spoc will be giving you single point of contact, or the legal team of your client will be giving that. Now let's take for example, uh, this is the main agreement kind of thing which you have got from where? From your client. Okay, so what you will do, you will just do what? You will replace it. Why? Because if you click on the main agreement which is present within the template, it is not having anything. Excuse me, anything at all. Why? Because see, this is a standard template, so this will be always be empty. And remember one more thing guys, I am giving you an example of terms and condition from the client. But remember, in general, there will be different logos present over here. Just before general, there will be company logo present over there. Some other information, company address, and all those things will be present over there, right? So those things also you have to do what? You have to tell to the client in the workshop, and those things you have to put within this document file. Why? Because this is a official document kind of thing which will go to the supplier. Ultimately, when each and everything in this particular document has been what you can say updated and saved over there and published over there, this particular document is going to the supplier. So this is going to be a what? Official document. So all those things, generally logos and other things, has to be put by the client over here. So always keep these points in your mind when you're taking a workshop for these particular documents. That means basically the contract documents. Once you're having this particular document, you can come and replace over here. That's very good. What about pricing? Pricing also, if you go and see over here, it is totally empty. Nothing is present over here. And pricing and other details means what? Line item details. Generally, those things will be updated within the contract itself. So in the template, what you will do? So remember this thing, guys, over here. In the template, remember one more thing, that in within the template, you have to make sure that you give the only format. What type of format? I will show you that particular format. Uh, 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 uh. Pressing. Here it is. Yeah. So you are able to see this particular format now, right now. Generally, I have prepared this format from my experience. Why? Because most of the client will prefer to use this kind of format. So that is why these things we have put. Now, excuse me, guys. Now, generally, this will also depend upon your client. So what you need to do is like you prepare a Excel sheet like this with this particular format. Then you show it to your client, saying that this is the general things which we will do in most of the client phases, in or most of the client implementation. If you want me to add some more fields, please tell me where. Okay. So basically, what you will do when you will go for client workshop over there, you have to design this thing first. Keep the same design in your mind when you're doing it. After designing this thing, where you will go? You will go to the client workshop and then you will say, this is basically the Ariba best practices which we do over here. Now, uh, do you want me to add some more fields or do you want me to remove some other field? Generally, removal is not done. Why? Because these are all mandatory things over here, guys. Guys, am I audible to all of you? Yeah. So always remember this thing, guys, that before you go to the workshop, prepare this particular format, take it to the client, and then you say, this is the best practices which SAP Ariba recommends. That's the first thing. Second thing is like, if you want me to add some more fields, we can do it over here. Okay, but removal generally it is not done. Why? Because all of these things are mandatory over here. You cannot say I will remove the quantity. So then how come you will calculate the total price over here? Okay. So once you have both of these document with yourself, after the client workshop, what you're going to do within this particular templates. So in these templates, click on main agreement. Okay. Once you click on the main agreement, there is a thing called as replace document. Click on this replace document. Now here you will say, okay, new main agreement document for what? New main agreement document for Okay, always write a proper description. Why? Because the first time when you are doing this thing, it will contain all the client specific terms and condition. Okay, now click on the choose file, go to the desktop, and where I have saved this thing. Just a moment. Main agreement. Okay, click on replace. Select the first option, replace document by the uploaded file. Click on OK. Once again, save it. Okay, now if you download this particular main agreement, you'd be able to see the client specific terms and condition are appearing by default over here. So this is how you are going to work on these particular documents within the template. Same thing in the pricing part also. You click on the pricing part, click on the replace document. Okay, and here you will say pricing format updated pricing doc, or basically in the pricing file. Click on choose file, and here I will choose only pricing. Click on replace. Click on save. Now if you look at this particular pricing document over here, you would be able to see the format automatically. See, the format is coming. Now that means what? From your template side, this particular document side has been uploaded. Okay, so generally you should ask me over here that Manoj, uh, why we need to do this thing? Because pricing will come automatically, right? Pricing XLS will come automatically. From where? From your RFP, right? It will automatically generate a pricing terms.xls file over there. Okay, then why it is needed? Why still we upload the pricing file here within the template? Any generic reason over here, guys? So take a guess over here. Yeah, correct. Correct, guys. Basically, as I said, contracts are two different kind of things. So contract can be created in a two different way. The first one is when you will be doing a RFP, and after the RFP, what you're going to do is like you're going to create a contract. Okay. Second one is the contract which you're going to create without any reference to RFP. That means you will directly go into the create option and you will create a contract workspace. At that time, pricing terms.xls is not going to get generated automatically. So in that particular scenario, what will happen? In that scenario, the contract owner is going to come to the pricing.xls file, download that file. Within that file, they are going to fill up that particular format which we have given. Once the format has been filled, they are going to upload the updated pricing document within the contract. That is why. So if you remember over here, when we were seeing this particular process also, there also I was telling you guys that you have to delete the pricing.xls file. Why? Because there will be two duplicate pricing.xls. Why? Because one was coming as pricing.xls, another one was coming as pricing terms.xls. Why? Because by default, the template, when you are configuring, template is not knowing whether you are creating this particular contract. from an RFP or without an RFP, right? So that is why pricing is always important. You have to give this particular information over here. Okay. So depending upon the process, it's up to you whether you will use it or not. If you are creating the contract without an RFP, then you will not, then you will use the pricing. And if you're creating the contract from an RFP, this particular document has to be what? Has to be deleted as per the process. Okay. So these are basically the things which we will do in the documents. Okay. Now, I think guys, it is pretty easy, right? You will be saying, like Manoj, from the document perspective, it's very easy. But you are talking all this particular thing with respect to implementation project, right? But a single implementation project, maximum time for a very complex project, it will take 1.5 year, not more than that. A small implementation project, it might take 4 months to maximum 5 months, not more than that. So after the implementation project, anyhow, some of you have to go to the support project. Not some of you, I think all of you have to work in that after the implementation project, right? So in the project, support project, what are those particular things will work? What do you think? So in that scenario, whenever your client is coming and saying to you that particular, that this is my requirement changes, there what you will do? So any case guys? Okay, let me give an hint over here. So your client is coming and saying this in the pricing dot xls, okay, in the format I want to add another field which was not previously present over there. So you will change that particular pricing dot xls file within the template, right? And you will publish it. Then how it is going to affect the process, guys? Because this is very important thing. You have to keep this thing in mind. Why? Because most of the people who are working in Ariba, uh, they don't know which uh, transactional documents, basically the source contract in this case, will get affected. So let me just rephrase the question. In the pricing, only the new one field will be added. Now, which contract will be affected? The old contract which has been already finished, or means that means expired contract, the active contract right now, or the new contract which you're going to create. Okay. Now I think most of you are saying the active contract, right? So tell me one thing, guys. If somebody is saying active contract, why active contract will get affected? Similarly, if somebody is saying new contract, why the new contract will get affected? Because everything requires a logical explanation. Remember, always remember over here, the active contract, okay, has been published before, right? At the time of publishing of those active contracts, the template has not been changed. So even if you change the template right now, this will not affect your active contract. Why? Because the template has been referenced before. Okay, that means the pricing.xls file at that time was not changed. So this is not going to affect your active process. That's the first thing. What's the second thing? And if you're talking about the new contracts, what do you mean by the new contracts over here? So in this particular new contracts, what will happen is like uh, in the new contracts, Obviously when you're going to reference the template, at that time the pricing.xls has been changed. So automatically, instead of, let's say previously there were 7 fields, now you put eight, one more field. That means 8 fields are present. Automatically, 8 fields will be coming within the new contract when you will be doing this thing. Okay. So always keep this thing in your mind. So whenever you are doing this template configuration, not only in contract, in sourcing, contracting, anywhere, this will only affect your new transactional documents. Active transactional documents will not get affected. Always remember this thing. So whenever your clients will come and say to you that, Manoj or guys, this is my requirement, now what we need to do to make sure that active things or active transactions are not affected by this, then you can say you don't have to think about this thing. Ariba has already think this particular thing. Okay. So this thing is a very important thing. Keep in mind over here, guys. Okay. Now next thing is like tasks. Now, I think most of you will understand what is a task, how many tasks are present. Okay, generally two types of task: approval task and a non-approval task. But if I compare this task with the sourcing template task, what is the difference? Any guess, guys? Correct. Lot of tasks. Yeah, lot of non-approval tasks. Okay, but if you notice over here, for all these tasks, there is a document associated with it. Main agreement, most of the tasks, main agreement, pricing, main agreement, contract documents. Why? Because of Ariba's architecture. So always remember this thing, guys. This is pretty much important. Okay. Why this particular task is, associated with a document? Because until and unless you update those document and you publish the document within the contract, I'm not talking about the template, I'm talking about the contract. You don't publish those documents within the contract, you won't be able to complete the task. That means, let's take for example, prepare main agreement task. Now, until and unless you upload the main agreement and you publish the main agreement, you won't be able to complete this prepare main agreement task. And why? Why it is mandatory? The next question should be why, Manoj? Like, without doing this also I can be doing this thing. Because remember over here, if you compare the contract management of Ariba with ECC or S4 HANA system, you will see in ECC or S4 HANA system there is a item field present within the screen, right? Within the screen only all the data is getting captured. But in Ariba, where it is getting captured? Either in pricing.xls or pricing terms.xls. So if Ariba don't make this particular architecture, what will happen is like Ariba will not know whether you have uploaded all the item information as well as price information or not. Then what will happen? Even if you don't upload anything within the document and if you complete all the tasks, your content has been generated. And when the supplier is going to get a mail, everything will be empty. Supplier will be saying, hey, what the hell? Which contract you are sharing it with me? Okay, I have got this particular description, but what is the terms and condition? What is the pricing? What is the quantity and all those stuff? of the item. Nothing is present over there. So that is why each of these tasks, mostly the important task, is linked with the document. Keep this thing in mind, guys. Okay. And second thing, second thing over here, as I said, this is basically a professional uh, contract workspace. There will be two questions. What are those particular questions? Supplier paper or vice president or not? So you will be seeing that there is a few duplicate tasks. Why? You can see over here, final approval of contract workspace. Okay, this is one approval task. And then there is another same task, final approval of contract workspace. Similarly, execute agreement. Very good. Another execute agreement. How you are going to differentiate or how you are going to understand which task is going to trigger when. So you can see over here that final approval of contract workspace, the second one is coming in the black kind of thing. Similarly, over here in the execute agreement, this task is coming in black. The other tasks are coming in blue, right? So whenever you will see a black related task, so always understand it is having a condition. Okay. So if remember the second approval task which is coming over here, this will only get triggered when you say vice president's approval is required, then only along with the first approval task, the second approval task will also get triggered. Then in that case, what will happen? The first level of approval, what you have given, it will trigger. It has to be completed. Once it has been done, what next? The second vice president approval task will also get triggered. So that is why I said professional contract workspace is mostly used for advanced perception. And the second thing is like whenever you are using suppliers paper. So if suppliers terms and condition has to be used over here, you have to take the approval from vice president also. So that is why instead of one approval task, you will have two approval tasks. Similarly, the last execute agreement which we are seeing, when it will get triggered, when you say I am not going to use my terms and condition, I am going to use supplier's terms and condition, then only the last execute agreement is going to be visible in your contract. Else, if you are saying, hey, I am the purchasing organization, I will follow my own terms and condition. So the first execute agreement will get triggered. Okay. So keep this thing in mind, guys. Okay. Once you have done this particular thing, then we can come and see what is the different things over here. But once again, those things are basically the same thing which we have seen before. That means in the sourcing task things, we have seen the custom template, custom task, linking of the custom task, conditions. Now in today's session, we are also going to see the same, but in a little bit more complex scenario. Why? Because always remember in the contract parts, how we do it over here is like it is a little bit more uh, complex compared to the sourcing template and nothing else. So that is why in today's session, when I'm going to show you all the task related configuration over here, it has to be based on what? It has to be based on the complex scenarios over here. Otherwise, most of you will be saying why this particular thing is required. And because if you look at the requirement over here also, guys, sourcing related tasks are not that much complex. Why? Because over there mostly the approval tasks are triggered, and some manual task has to be linked with the complex standard task, approval task. But here the custom task will be a little bit different. You will be having different number of condition. A very complex condition has to be done over there. So all of these things we are going to see today, guys. Okay, so let us take a question answer session over here, guys. Okay, once we take the question answer session, then we are going to further continue with our session. So please raise your hand, guys, who is having questions over here. I'm going to unmute one by one, and we are going to take queries from all of you. So please raise your hand if you're having question. Yeah, Tanmay, can you please go ahead?
Yeah, Manoj. So my question was,
Yeah.
you like when we cleared out the difference, like you said in the sourcing project, and the difference between this template and the template which we were talking about before. So
Mhm.
there is difference between document tasks, teams, conditions appearing under overview.
Yeah.
So I mean, what is the impact of it, impact of that? So or is it just visual difference? That's it, or
Yeah, it's a visual difference only, nothing else.
okay, okay, okay,
Okay.
okay,
Only thing is like if you compare the sourcing template with the contract templates over there, the
okay.
documents are totally different. Okay, that's the
Yes,
first thing.
documents are done. Correct.
And the task over here, over there, the tasks are very simple. It is not
Yes.
related with any documents, but here the tasks are much more complex, and these tasks are also related with the document or associated with the documents over here.
Mm-hmm.
And the third thing is condition. Now condition generally same thing. It is the same
Mm-hmm.
thing over here in both sourcing and contracting, but
Mm-hmm.
in sourcing the condition are generally not so complex, but in
Yes.
contract the condition can be a little bit more complex.
Correct.
That's the
So
difference.
next question, Manoj. So you were
Yeah.
explaining the scenario as in the blue. There are duplicate tasks. The only difference being one has a condition attached to it and one does
Yeah.
not. So can you repeat that part? I was like, I didn't get it exactly. The triggering
Okay.
of, yeah.
So always remember, there was two questions, right? Whenever you will select the professional template, there will be two questions, right? One was,
Yes. Paper
will you
and
use
VP
supplier?
approval. Mm,
Yeah, will you use supplier paper? That means, are you going to use supplier terms and condition? If
correct.
you say yes, then what will
Mm-hmm.
happen is like the second execute agreement will be visible within your contract, not the first execute agreement task.
Okay, so you are saying the blue one, which does not have any conditions, basically pertains to using our own terms and conditions.
Exactly.
And the
Exactly.
second one, then it loops into the condition and then it moves forward because supplier's conditions
Yeah.
are being taken in.
Exactly.
Okay, okay,
Similarly,
okay.
on the final approval also, if you see,
Haha,
there will be the second question that, excuse me,
haha, VP and yes, yes, yes.
yeah, does this contract requires approval from VP? If you select
Mhm.
no, then by default, the first task will come, which is marked in blue. That is final
Correct,
approval of contract workspace. But if you
correct.
select yes, then what will
Mm-hmm.
happen is like now one task will not come. Now two tasks will come. Why? Because final
Correct.
approval will anyhow it will come. The second task also, final approval of contract workspace, where the owner is vice president approver, that will also come.
Okay, 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 okay. Got it, got it. Okay, so next question, Manoj. We
Yeah,
are see the conditions which we are linking in to these tasks. Uh,
yeah,
we are creating these conditions under conditions tab, and then from drop down they are appearing, and we are selecting the respective conditions for respective task.
exactly,
Okay,
exactly.
so my question was, so these conditions are miscellaneously created under conditions, but what about the conditions which we are linking in, the overview tab? So I mean,
Yeah.
what is the difference, or
See,
is
see,
the same
same
thing?
condition. No, no, no. Condition is
Okay, same
same.
condition.
Same
Okay,
condition. Over there, I'm using some other parameters like department. Here, I will use
correct.
region, commodity code, or something
Ha
else over
ha
here.
ha 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 ha. Okay, so there is no difference as such. We can use the conditions created under conditions in overview also and under tasks also, right?
Exactly.
Okay, okay, got it. Okay, that was all my questions. Thank you, Manoj.
Yeah. Welcome, Tanmay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just a moment. Yeah. Diksha, can you please go ahead with your query?
Yeah, good morning, Manoj. Um,
Yeah. Good
this,
morning, Diksha.
yeah, actually, my question is that currently you are showing this for a RFP. So, in case the event type is RFI or a reverse auction or anything,
No,
the
no, 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 no. In that case, also, contract will not get created. Why? Because see, ultimately, the thing is like auction, contract will get created from where? Basically, from the RFP only. Why? As I said, from RFI you cannot create a contract. Why? Because you haven't got the technical, price quotation over there, right? Similarly, RFI and RFP VRE will do it. As I said, in the RFP process also you can do it by just putting those questions where at the template level of the sourcing template configuration. So that is why in most of the scenario, what we will do is like we will create a RFP and then the end result of an RFP will always be in contract. But after RFI, the contract will not be generally done.
okay, and auction?
Yeah, now that's a very good question. Yes, for auction also you can do contract. You can do contract, but that will require a little bit of improvisation, or you can say like if you want to use the full-fledged automatic conversion of the codes into your contract, then you have to do the ER. That is why in most of the scenario, what we say to the client is like do the RFI RFP within the RFP process and then create a contract. You will get the standard what you can say price and item level information within the Excel file, that is pricing terms.xls, through the standard way only. But if your requirement is like for some small cases I will create a only auction, and from the auction the contract has to be generated with the price level information as well as item level information, so you have to ask for a ER.
Okay.
Yeah, but RFI, after RFI, so basically what you have to do is like after RFI you have to do one RFP. If you do it separately, after RFI you have to do it, do the RFP. Once it is done, then you can create a contract.
Okay, so for auction, Ariba right now has not, I mean, in the standard module, they do not have a contract option with the pricing
No,
and
no,
commodity.
it is there. No, no, it is there. But the only thing is like you have to manually look at the screen and then you have to enter the information. It will not come automatically.
Okay, fine. Okay. Yeah, and one more thing, Manoj, it's not any
Yeah.
question. It's just that the last weekend's July 6th recording, I don't think it is complete because it ends abruptly. I'm not sure if I mean, if someone else can confirm the same because the last question you were explaining was can the supplier submit alternate responses? And after that, there was nothing. It just went on in mute mode for 4 5 minutes and then the video finishes. So I don't know if
Okay.
it's a recording issue or a conversion issue.
Okay. Do
Manoj,
one thing.
even
Yeah.
I have the same issue in the
Yeah.
recording.
Okay, so do one thing, guys. Send me a mail. Okay, at what particular point the questions is ending over there and it is going into mute mode. Take a screenshot and please highlight. I think the date and time will be showing within the right hand corner side, right?
Yes, yes, yeah.
So that also you send over there. So through that particular thing, I will be able to know whether it's a conversion issue or some recording faulty technical things in the recording it happened. So just send me a mail with the what you can say with the attachment with the screenshot attachment, and remember to keep the date and time over there, otherwise I won't be able to understand.
Okay, Manoj, I don't have your email ID, so after the class, maybe you can send it to me.
Yeah, definitely. I will
Thank
be
you.
sending.
Yeah, that's all from my side. Thanks.
Yeah, welcome,
Okay,
Diksha.
Manoj, I would also need your mail ID for the same thing.
Yeah, we will be
Okay.
see on this particular part, Eraj will be providing you my email ID over here. Okay. of the line he will be providing you. Generally, email ID is provided. My email ID is provided to all the participants generally after the 50% of the course gets completed. So anyhow, that particular thing will happen tomorrow over here. Arey. Okay, so you are going to receive that. No issues on this part. Okay, yeah. Thanks, Diksha. Okay, I think Chetan is having some query. Just a moment. Yeah, Chetan, you are having any query?
Yeah, hi Manish, how are you? For a long time.
Yeah. Hello, Chetan. Yeah,
So,
meeting you after a
uh,
long time.
yeah, actually, I have two queries basically. So, what I understand,
Yeah.
there are two boxes um, on contract box for professional and basic, right? So, basic will have
Chetan,
two questions.
Chetan, just a moment. Can you speak a little bit closer to the mic? Why? Because your voice is getting sometimes cut out over here.
Am I audible now?
Yeah, yeah. Now you're perfectly audible.
So, what I'm saying that there are two boxes, one is professional and one is basic. So, professional will have two questions. One is
Chetan, again, it is getting cut out. Do one thing, Chetan. You just write your query within the chat box. I'm going to read that query, okay, and I'm going to answer you.
now, now I hope this is clear, right?
Yeah, but actually, what is happening is like I think this is not a issue with your mic. I think this is a issue with your internet. So that is why your voice is getting cut out in between.
Okay, let
Okay,
me
okay,
give
okay.
a try.
Yeah. Let me ask you. Just ask your query over here. I think it is appearing fine right now.
Okay, so what I'm saying that there are two types of
Again, it is getting cut out.
that-
Again, it is getting cut out. Chetan, just it will be much better that if you write your query over there. I will read the query just right now. Okay, and I'm going to answer you. Yeah, just give me a moment, guys, over here. Meanwhile, I log in over here. I don't know why there is some issue. Sometimes issue with the cookie will happen over there, and it will automatically log you out of the system. So I think that is what it happened over here. Okay, Chetan, I think let me read your question. For the contract professional, there are two questions. Yes, there are two questions. Basically, the two questions are, the first question is, are you going to use the supplier paper? So when you are saying, are you going to use your supplier paper, that means what? That means that are you going to use supplier's terms and condition rather than using your own terms and condition? That's the first thing. And the second question is like, does this contract requires vice president's approval? If you say no, only one approval task will get triggered. If you say yes, then what will happen? Then two approval task is going to appear. No. For Chetan, for professional contracts, let me just show it within the templates with the help of template. This will clear your doubt. Give me a moment over here. Okay, so in this particular case, always remember when you are talking about the profession, not the professional actually, depending upon your question's answer. If you say that the supplier, if you are going to use the supplier's paper, then what will happen? This second execute agreement task will get triggered rather than the first one. And if you say you are going to use your own terms and condition, this first one will get triggered rather than the last one. Okay. And if you say that for the vice president approval is required, then these two tasks will come. So in all together, the difference between your answer, that means if you say for vice president TS approval is required, one more extra task will be present in the form of this approval. But both of these execute agreements will never get triggered. Only one agreement will get triggered over here. Yeah, so basically you will select this thing, Chetan, where when you are creating the contract, right, you are choosing the template, automatically two questions will come. So there you will give the answer yes or no, yes or no. So there that
Okay.
particular question is going to come. There you will select it, and then you will click on create contract. Yeah. Yeah. Any other queries, Chetan? You can just type it down, and I'm going to read it, and I'm going to answer it. No. Again, I said what that execute agreement will be one, but final approval, both of these tasks will get triggered when you are saying vice president approval is required. If you are saying vice president approval is not required, then what will happen? The first final approval of contract workspace will get triggered only. But if you are saying vice president approval is required, then both of the final approval tasks will get triggered. But execute agreement, only one will be triggered at a time. You cannot trigger both of them. That's the difference. So that means instead of two tasks, you will have three tasks if you say vice president approval is required. Yeah. Chetan, any other queries? Acha, extra execute agreement. As I said, why? Because if you are going to use supplier's paper, that means supplier terms and condition, the task will be a little bit different from your terms and conditions, right? Why? Because you will be using your separate document. If you are saying supply terms and condition, that means you will create another document, and there from the supplier side you will be copying the terms and condition and you will pasting it over there. So that is why a extra execute agreement has been provided, so that when you will say for the supplier, it will not refer to main agreement.doc. There you have to upload, let's say, supplier agreement.doc. Then the last execute agreement, you have to link it with the supplier agreement.doc, then only it will work fine. So that is why two execute agreement has been given. Yeah. Any other queries? Uh, uh, Chetan, I did not got your question. Can you just, write it properly? That, U days, I am not able to understand what is U days. Ah, so if you're going to use supplier agreement over there, you have to use the second execute agreement. Okay. And if you're saying not supplier agreement, but your agreement, then you can automatically this execute agreement will come. You don't have to use this. System will automatically choose either of this agreement based on the answer. If you're saying yes to the supplier terms and condition, then the second execute agreement will come. Okay. And if you are saying no, I will use my terms and condition, then the first execute agreement will come. Now when you are saying supplier terms and condition, the second one will come. See, in the second execute agreement there is no document attached. See, the last execute agreement is having no document attached. Why? Because it's a work of the buyer who is creating the contract. That particular person is going to create one document. That document will be called as supplier negotiation.doc. This document has to be linked with the last execute agreement, and you have to publish the supplier negotiation.doc, and then you have to finish the execute agreement task. Once it has been done, then only you would be able to complete as well as publish the contract. Yeah.
Uh,
Thanks, Chetan.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Manoj.
Yeah, welcome, Chetan. I think there was some problem with the internet. Otherwise, generally sometimes these do happen. In India, sometimes this issue will be not with that of the service provider, but sometimes it will be due to a bad weather or something like that. Yeah, thanks, Chetan. Okay, so just a moment, guys. Okay, so we had our question answer session over here, guys. So what I'm going to do is like, let us take a small break of 10 minutes. Okay. Within that also, guys, if you want to take break over here, please do take your break over here. Okay. And after 10 minutes, we are going to see the rest of the configuration, like, the custom task linking over here, how it is different from the sourcing task. Condition, we are also going to see the condition, but here we will be seeing the complex condition. Why? Because I think most of you will know the field match, but nobody knows what is a sub condition, where the sub condition has to be used, and why? Because these things will come in a complex project, not in a simple project. Okay, so all of these things requires time over here. So we are going to see it in all of this thing after 10 minutes only. Okay, so guys, if you also want to refresh within 10 minutes, please do it. We are going to begin our session once again after 10 minutes only. That means right now it's 9:16. By 9:26 we are going to begin our session. Thank you, guys. So let's take a break. Guys, are you able to hear me? Yeah, thanks for the confirmation, guys. So before I go into the task, let me go into the condition. But before I go into the condition, let me list out a what you can say, a condition scenario over here. Now let's say we have seen the different small conditions till our last template configuration. Like if department is equal to something, okay, and region is equal to some other thing. Now, what about this particular condition? Let's say if I want to give a condition like this, if department is equal to AA and region is equal to, let's say, India, or let's say uh, there is another field which is called as the project state. Let me just check this particular condition once more. Add condition, okay, field match. Okay, I will choose the commodity and company code. Company code is equal to something. Okay, how we will do this? Because if you look at the condition, see, within this main condition we are having one operator and, okay, within this particular condition also we are having one operator and in between I'm having a or condition also. So how to handle, see, this is not actually a complex thing. This is like a normal condition which can be prescribed by the client. Client may ask, right, hey Manoj, we will need this kind of condition. How to make sure that this particular condition is correct or whether it is appearing or not? So in that scenario, you cannot use a field match. This is basically a field match. So what I'm going to do is like I'm just going to write as complex condition. Now remember this thing, guys, this is not always you are going to see this particular thing. Why? Because I think for your first project you are not going to see all of this stuff, but when you will go and move on to the what you can say uh, new project where once you have done the first implementation you're going to work with the second implementation, that time your company might give you a complex project over there. And mostly if you look at the big MNCs like European MNCs or American MNC, Australian MNCs over there, they will most probably have complex condition. So how you will use that? So in that scenario, while you click on this inverted triangle, don't click on field match, click on sub condition. Okay, now what is the meaning of a sub condition? The meaning of a sub condition means if you want to write multiple logics and you want the system to consider that as a only one condition, then only you will use condition. Now let's say I want to make it a little bit more complex, and mm, there was another field, right? User group, sourcing something I will write over here. Okay, so I'm having three condition over here, three individual condition, but to the system I will say, boss, These three condition, you should not look it separately. You should consider this as a part of one condition. So that is why if you notice I have put a bracket over here. Bracket means what? To denote that this particular three condition, if all of the three condition is satisfied, then only that means the first condition has been satisfied. Okay, so I think we are humans over here, so we can understand what is the meaning of a bracket over here, but how you will make this thing understandable to Ariba? So in that case, you have to use the concept of subcondition. So once you use the subcondition over here, we have used department. So first what I will do, I will select department over here. Department is equal to something I will select. Let's say this particular department we will select. Second is region. What I will do, once again I will click on here. Don't click on here. Subcondition means this thing only. Okay, so always add in over here. Click on field match, and here I will put region. Region, let's say I will select this particular thing as India, or maybe I will select this thing as US, just for the time being. And the third condition is what? User group. So here what I will do, I will select the user group, and here I will select junior sourcing agent and sourcing agent. Both of this particular thing we are going to select. Okay, now what was the condition over here, guys? For the sub condition, both are using and over here. So where this particular condition you are going to select? Any idea, guys? Huh? So okay, let me just tell you over here where to uh, select this particular condition over here. So for that you have to go over here. Here, since within the sub condition you have to select always and, then what you will do, you will select all are true over here. All are true means by default all of these three condition has to be satisfied. Okay, that is the first sub condition we did. Now there is another sub condition. What I'm going to do, I will go to the first tab over here. I will click on this thing, and then what I will do, I will click on another sub condition. Now within this sub condition, what I will do, I will add two different field matches. One is commodity code and company code. Commodity code here. Let's say I will select this one. Again another field match. Remember sub condition, not the main condition. Here I will select the company code. Let's say uh, I think some participant has removed this company code over there. That is why it is not coming properly over here. Mm, I think I have to do it once more. It does not been saved. Okay, let me do it once more, guys. And next time I'm going to take something else. Okay, I'm not going to take the company code. Why? Because this is an issue right now. So here what I will take department, region and user group. department. Sorry. I will first take a subcondition 1. Here I will select field match, and here I will select department. Let's say I will select this one only. Second one, I'm going to select what? Regions. Let's say I will select US. The third one which I'm going to select is user groups. Click on OK. Now that was the first condition. Where is the second condition? Sorry, second subcondition. Click on this one, click on subcondition, and then click on field match. Now here what I'm going to do is like I'm going to take commodity. I will select a commodity over here, commodity code, this one. And rather than using company code, I will use something else over here. Why? Because somebody removed all the data. Okay. Let's say contract amount I'm going to take. 100,000 is greater than or equal to 100,000 euros. Now, what I have done over here is like I have created two main subcondition. Okay, but in between the subcondition, which particular operator is coming? Or. So where we will put this thing? So in the system, this is the first condition. All the condition has to be satisfied. Then we have to put and over here. And means all are true. Similarly, for the second condition also, and is there. So this is the subcondition. And here all are true. That means both of this condition has to be true. So both of this particular condition has to be met true. Very good. Now, in between the subcondition, we are having or. What do we mean by this particular thing? So in that scenario, here we have to put or. So if we want to put a or, what we need to do? Once again, we need to click on this inverted triangle. I'm not going to do anything over here. After this, I'm just going to select any are true. Any are true means what? That means it is an or over here. So that means I am saying to the system boss, these three conditions is nothing but a subcondition. Okay. And these two condition over here is another subcondition. Check whether subcondition 1 is getting satisfied or subcondition 2. So either or. So let's say if this particular condition fail, it can fail due to any of these three conditions. If it fails, then here what will happen is like commodity and contract amount both has to be satisfied. Then only subcondition 2 will be satisfied. Then only this whole condition will be satisfied. So this is only a, actually this is not a full-fledged complex condition gathering over here, guys. Why? Because I have taken a very easy thing. The next condition which I'm going to show you, that will be a little bit complex, more complex compared to this. But I think most of you are able to understand what is the concept of subcondition and all other things. Yeah, just give me a moment over here, guys. So guys, this subcondition concept and how to put a or as well as and over here, is it clear? Can you please confirm, guys? Okay. So what I'm going to do is like this particular complex condition 1, I will okay it. Now I will create another complex condition. Sorry. First condition. Now here what I will do is like I will make this condition much more, what you can say, complex. What to do over here? So basically here, rather than using and, I will use or. Here let it be or. Okay, and in between I will use and. This is the condition, but along with this I am going to say complex, just a minute, Hmm. Complex condition and this. That means what, guys? Can any of you take a guess over here? What condition I have written over here? What's the meaning of this thing? Any guess, guys? Yeah, correct. That means over here, the previous condition which we have created, that is the complex condition, that has to be satisfied. Along with that, this particular subcondition has to be satisfied, and this condition also has to be satisfied. Okay. Now, I think all of you have seen this particular parameter over here, and if we want to use both and or within a subcondition, can it be done, guys? Let's say here you want to add a subcondition. Okay, you use a subcondition. So here you can use either all are true, that means and, or any are true or, right? But not both of them. But according to our condition, first condition over here, within the subcondition, I'm going to use and as well as or, both has to be used. Can it be done by using one subcondition? What do you think, guys? No, it cannot be done. So what you have to do? So here you have to put it like this. Department is equal to A and that means basically what I have done. Basically, this is the first subcondition with third bracket starting and another ending. And in between this subcondition, there is another two subcondition. This is the subcondition 1. This is the subcondition 2. So always remember why I am showing this thing, because see, if you get a and over here within a subcondition, if you get all the things as and or, no issues. But if you have to use both and as well as or, then what will happen? Then there will be lot of issues. So that is why I wanted to show you over here that subcondition also don't think that it does not have any hierarchy. It does have a hierarchy. Okay. So let us try to achieve this particular goal once again within complex condition 1. So this is the sub condition 1 which we have created. Now within the sub condition, what I will do? But before that, what we are saying, complex condition which we have previously created has to be satisfied. how we can do this thing? Click on this inverted triangle and there is a thing called as reference to condition. Click on this reference to condition. Okay, now select your condition and your condition is complex condition and you will click on OK. Now by default you can see within your system it is coming complex condition is true. That means the previous condition which you have written over there, if your client is saying okay, first condition we have given that has to be satisfied, along with this some new field matching is also has to be checked. So what you are going to do, you're going to write the first condition over here and then you have to write the other complex thing. So you will become mad. You cannot use that. So what we will do, we will break up the condition. Once we break up the condition, the first condition we will make it half complex and that we will reference into our second condition. And there what I will do, there I will put my own requirements according to the client. So what will happen? System will check both the condition. Now it's an issue with the system. Now I think most of us know that in the background, Java coding will be, running within the Ariba background over there. So through the coding, there will be no issues. But from a functional perspective, this is quite a complex thing. So you have to understand this thing. Okay. So once we have given the first condition, then we are going to take the sub condition hierarchy over here. So what we have to do over here, we have to click on all are true. Then we have to click on sub condition. See, it is appearing over here. Now within this sub condition also, two other sub condition has to be added. So what I will do, rather than a field match, I will create another sub condition. Okay. And within this sub condition, what I will do, I will click on a field match. What is the field match? Department is equal to AA. And here I will select department and here I will select some value. Okay. So first sub condition has been done. Then the next sub condition we have to configure. But before that, what is the condition over here? Basically operator and. So what will happen here also, I will put on and. Okay. Where, here or here? Which one? Here I will put and or here I will put and. So take a guess, guys. Which one? The first one or the second one? Okay. So this and actually it will be where? It will be here. That means all are true. Okay. And by default, see, for the sub condition, sub condition, there is no other condition. That means in the second sub condition where we are going to use or, we have not created a sub condition at all. So that is why, always remember this thing, guys. Here also you have to create another sub condition. Now within this particular sub condition, you're using or, you will select any are true. Okay. Why? Because this is sub condition 1, this is sub condition 2. Within first sub condition there is nothing, so keep it any are true, all are true, it does not matter. But in the second sub condition you can see over here or is present, so that is why I have given any are true. And in between you can see and is coming. That particular thing will not be listed over here, it will be listed over here only. So that is how you should keep this thing in mind, guys. Okay. Now here what I will do, I will add region is equal to India and user group is equal to something. So here I will put region is equal, let's say something else. EMEA I will put, or Europe I will put. Done. And along with it, what I will do, I will click on user group, and I will select I will click on done. Okay, now my first subcondition has been done only. Now the next is another subcondition also, right? And here also it is coming as AND. So this will also be AND. I will add a subcondition, right? What is the subcondition over here? Commodity is equal to something and some other value we will take. So since OR is there, so what I will do? Here only I will choose any or true. Why? Because here only one operator is used, not two operators. So only one subcondition will be sufficient for it. So we will put any or true, and then we will click on this thing as field match. Commodity code over here we will select. Electronic components and supplies we are going to take. Click on done. And the next one is contract amount we are going to take. Let's say 10,000 euros. Okay, now it has been done. Now our condition is done. So whatever we have written within this particular thing, it has been done. Now let's say, guys, if I want to make this a little bit complex, okay, what I will do, I will put a third bracket over here, or I will put, and then I will put a third bracket. Now what changes is needed to be done over here, guys? What do you think? Why? Because previously both this subcondition was connected through the help of AND. Now I am changing my condition over here to OR. What is needed to be done over here, guys? So instead of taking both of this subcondition as one, what will happen is like you will take a main subcondition, this one as one subcondition, okay? Then within it, this is the first child subcondition, this is the second child subcondition, and within the second child, first child condition, there is another subchild condition one, subchild condition two. So how you will do that? So come to the system over here, okay, and you will remove this. Here you will put what? You will put any or true, and here what you will do, you will put a reference to condition. And what is that condition? Complex condition. And what is the complex condition? Here it should be selected and. So here it should also be selected as and. So basically, as I have told you earlier, guys, this is the parent condition. Parent condition means this one. This is the parent condition. So here what I will put? Or. So that is why I have put any or true over here. Now within this main condition, there is the first child condition. Where is that one? Here. Now within this particular first child condition, there is two another child condition. Where are those things? Here and here. Okay. And the second main child condition, where it is over here. So that is how you will do this particular configuration over here. Always remember, guys, see, right now I'm showing this particular thing. Why? Because I've done multiple times over here. Okay. And for me, it is very easy to understand that, okay, this condition I will put where I will put any a true, where I will put all a true over here. But remember, when you're going to do this particular thing within the system, okay, it will become very much confusing. Why? Because let me tell you from my experience over here, guys, that the first time I did a complex condition, it was totally wrong. It was totally wrong, and even we cannot debug the situation. So I had a very good Ariba friend who was working in Ariba Consulting, SAP Ariba itself company. So that particular guy took the help from the debugging team. That means again SAP Ariba engineering team. That particular guy debugged all of this particular scenario, and after debugging what that particular guy did, that guy told me that your logic is looking like this, so you're going wrong over here. So after taking the help of that particular engineering Ariba engineering team guy for 3-4 times, then I rectified this particular solution, and then I came to understand that how this particular complex condition has to be written over here. So always remember, this particular condition is a very easy condition, right? Why? Because if you see in the in the notepad, okay, so within the notepad it is coming like small one line condition, but see within the system how it is looking. And remember, guys, I think some of you might think like, Manoj, oh, okay, this particular thing we will only use in sourcing, sorry, in contract, right? It's not needed anywhere else. Wrong, guys. This particular expression you have to use within the workflow configuration within the downstream also. And there, this kinds of logic is very, very common. Purchasing organization, purchasing group, all of this stuff will be coming over there. Regions, what you will do? Countries, what you will do? You will say, no, we cannot do. You have to do that thing. So this particular kind of complex thing, remember, this is not only going to help you in the contract, sorry, in the upstream part, it is also going to help you in your downstream part also. So these particular conditions are pretty much important. Keep that thing in mind, guys. Okay. Why? Because next time when we are going to go into the downstream part and we are going to see downstream part also, same condition will be there over there. So I will be asking over there that, guys, can any of you recall how to do this thing? Okay. So remember this thing, please, guys. Okay. Now, once you click on OK, your complex condition has been done. Diksha, the thing is like, these particular conditions, we are not going to do anything. This conditions will be coming from client only. We cannot put it on our own. It has to come from client. And basically, see, client in Ariba side, client will not know how much complexity is, you know, just a moment. Okay, client will not understand that how much complex it is for, from the Ariba side. They will just give the business sourcing logic, or basically from the business logic. See, from the business logic, this is pretty easy, right? Pretty easy. They will say this is not a complex, what you can say, complex requirement at all. But when we are going to do the implementation over here, see, this is a complex requirement. Why? Because a lot of things are getting created over here. That is why. Okay. So it's always important that you take the client into the workshop over here and you make them understand that, okay, be clear on your requirement. Don't give me, give me a wish list over here. Because if you give me a wish list over here, this line, this might run into, 100 lines. Then forget about you. I will also won't understand how the condition is working fine over there, or which condition is getting triggered. Where is the issue? Okay. So you have to tell them only the mandatory conditions which you want within the complex scenario. You have to put it. Yeah, and Chetan, mainly the thing is like all are true means and any are true means or over here and nothing else. Yeah, thanks Diksha. Thanks Chetan. Okay, so this is how you can configure the complex conditions over here. Now, once you've done this particular thing, we need to go to the task. Now, first of all, guys, now let's make this a little bit of interactive session over here. Why? Because we are going to do what? We are going to recap some of the things regarding the task which we have seen before in the sourcing thing. Now, first of all, how to create a custom task? Guys, you can give your views over here in the chat box. Yeah, both of the, it can be done in both of the ways, guys. Yes, you're correct. You can create on action, create custom task. That's the one way of doing it. Or you can copy from the standard task also. That is also available over here. Okay, that's the two ways. Okay, now once you create a custom task, it will come at the end. How you can move it at the top? By which concept? And don't tell me, guys, by dragging and dropping. Why? Because those things are generally said by totally freshers, guys, in Ariba. Yeah, correct. By using the rank concept. Now, how the rank concept are generally used in SAP Ariba? It's like, standard rank will be given, right? It will begin from where and how the ranks will be given thereafter. Correct, guys. Totally correct. The rank, first task rank will by default become 0. Then from the second task, plus 10 you have to add. That means second task 0 plus 10 is equal to rank is equal to 10. Third task 0 plus 10 plus 10. That means 20 rank. Like this, what will happen? The rank will get changed. Now, a little bit tricky question. Now, let's say there is a fighting between a standard task and a custom task with the same rank. Which task will win? Correct, guys. Custom task. Now, I am having custom one task which I have created 10 minutes ago. Now I have created a custom two task recently. Both are having same rank. Which one will win? Correct. Custom two task. Why? Because the latest created custom task will always get the first priority among all the custom tasks. Okay. Keep this thing in mind. Now, let's say you want to put a manual task saying I want to uh, trigger a manual task just before the final approval. Okay. And where the buyer should go and check everything is in order within the contract, then only the approval should be done. Then how it will be triggered? Your custom task will be triggered, then final approval will be triggered, right? So if your approvers approve the contract before the buyer checks the contract, what will happen? Since that is a non-mandatory task over there, what will happen? Your approval will be done, but that particular task will not be done. So how to avoid this thing? Yeah, you're correct, Diksha. Predecessor. So what I will do within the final approval of contract workspace, I will go to that particular task and then I will click on predecessor task. And within the predecessor task, what I'm going to do, I'm going to rename that particular predecessor task of the standard task as the custom task. I will select the custom task over there. Then what will happen? Ariba will trigger the custom task. When it is going to trigger the final approval task, it will see the predecessor of the final approval task is the custom task. So system will automatically say, please don't trigger the final approval until and unless the custom task has been completed successfully. In this way, you can meet client's requirement. If there is a dependency on one task over there, you have to use the concept of predecessor. Very good. Now, before I go and you know uh, show you the how to configure the approval, I think most of the approval things you have seen. Only the approver over here we will change over there. But I want to stress on one more point over here. And what is that particular more point over here? That is each of see most of the important standard task is having a document. Okay, so when you will create a custom task, document will also come into the picture. So I will show you how to associate a document with a custom task. But for that particular thing, you should ask me that Manoj, how to create a document. That will also I will show. It's pretty easy. But why you will create a document and you will assign it to a custom task? Any guess, guys? Why? Because we don't need to create any other documents, right? Or what's the usage of both of these two standard document? Pricing.xls, terms and condition, that is main agreement.doc. If I create a custom document, what would be its impact? Any guess, guys? So remember over here, guys, please be, remember this thing in a important, remember this thing. Why? Because this is a very important point, that the two documents which you are seeing over here, just a moment, the pricing and main agreement. Okay. At the end of your contract, once the final approval has been done, both of these documents, as I said at the end, both of these documents will be sent to the supplier. The third document which you are going to create, let's say you are going to create for your internal requirement, where authoring team will put some comment or they will update something. Okay, where the contract owner, if they want to put or want to give some specific information to the buyers only, not to the supplier, that also will be put over here. So if your client requirement is like this, they will be coming to us and say, Manoj, I want to create a document that will be for my internal consumption only, that will not be sent to the supplier. Okay, so you have to do that particular thing. So that is why, remember, whenever we will create a custom document, we have to create a custom task for that, and we have to link the custom task with the custom document. And remember, this custom document will not be shared with the supplier. Why? Supplier will only receive these two standard documents. That is why. But this is not required everywhere, guys. Most of the client will be saying, okay, I can take care of the custom task, it is more than enough, I don't need a custom document. But some will say, hey, I need that particular thing, you have to give it to me. So that's the difference between a standard document and a custom document. Now your next query which should come over here is, Manoj, see, we have also customized the two standard document. Then I will say, yes, those things won't be shown to the supplier. Then I will say, yes, those will be seen to the supplier. But then those are also not standard document, right? Customized document. But if you look at the name over here, what we are doing, guys, we are not creating a custom document. We are replacing the standard document by another document over there. So in effect, pricing is still pricing. Okay, main agreement is main agreement. So how can you understand that which documents will be sent over here? You have to understand that any document which is present by default within the contract documents will be shared with the supplier. Many people, many participants don't know about this particular thing. So that is why what they will say is like, we will create a custom document within the contract documents. So let me show you guys how you can do this particular thing. So if you want to create a document where you will create, click on action. Okay. Now create document. Now once you click on create document over here, click on choose file. Let's say I want the pricing terms document. I will write custom pricing terms document for buyers viewing only. And here guys, okay, click on is published required, yes, click on create, okay, and click on done. Now once you have done this particular document, see where it is coming. Is it coming within the contract document? No. So some will say, Manoj, can I put this particular document within the contract document? Yes, you can put it just by dragging and dropping. But please don't do it. Please don't do it. Why? Because now this particular document will be sent to the supplier. So always remember, keep this thing out. Why it is not coming? Okay. So I think once you okay, now what will happen? This pricing terms will not be seen by the supplier. So this is a common mistake which most of the what you can say uh, participants or the junior Ariba consultant they will make. They will create this particular document and they will put it within the contract document. Please don't put it. Okay. So once you have done this particular thing, what you will do next? You will go to the task section. Within the task section, what you will do? You will click on action, create to do task, and here you will say custom task for internal documents updation and viewing. Now see, this particular task is coming normally. There is no documents over here. How I can associate a document? Click on this particular task. Once you click on this task, see associate document is coming. Click on this associate document. And here, please don't choose the contract document. Please choose the pricing term which is coming above the contract document and click on OK. And once again, OK. Now you will see the custom task for internal document updation and viewing is coming with the pricing terms. Now, even when you will create a contract from this particular this template, okay, and once this particular contract get published, the pricing terms document is never going to go to the supplier. Why? Because it's for internal usage. But if you link this document with any of the standard task, then you are gone. That will be sent to the supplier. So that is the first second condition which you have to remember, that whenever you're using a custom document, always use custom task. Okay, that's the first second thing. And what is the first thing? Whenever you're creating a custom document, please don't create it or drag and drop it within the contract documents. Okay, so then what will happen? This custom task and custom document will be kept internally only. It will not go to the supplier. So remember guys, this thing will not be asked by most of your, what you can say, most of your uh, client, but somehow some clients might ask you. Okay, then you have to do it. Okay, but then again, you don't need to think about the flow of this particular task. Why? Because this particular task you can complete at any time, you can update at any time also, but remember before the execute agreement. And this will not follow any flow over here. Why? Because this is not directly linked to your standard process. It is linked with the internal process or internal comments kind of thing only. So that is why even if you don't change this particular custom task rank also, it won't affect. Why? Because as we have seen before in the contract, that you can go over there and there will be thing called as mark start and mark completed. You can click on mark started over here for this particular custom task before you start with the validated internal team members task also. Then you can upload this thing, you can update this thing. Okay, and once it is done, then you can make it as mark complete. Even if you don't make it as mark complete, remember, still the our contract will be published after you click on execute agreement. Once you click on the execute agreement and you click on mark completed, then your contract will be published. Okay, so remember, custom task and custom document, when you're going to use, whenever your client is saying that I need a separate document and separate task for the what you can say, for our internal flow or internal requirement, then only you're going to do it. That's the first thing. And second thing is like the approval. Now let us go into the approval and edit it. I think we are going to make this particular thing also interactive. Why? Because most of the things are same over here. So first of all guys, allow at auto approval, what this should be, yes or no? What do you think guys? It should be yes or no? Correct, no. Why? Because if you put this thing as yes, there will be no approval which will be required. Correct. Now external system approval, if I put this thing as yes, what will happen? Any changes? Correct, correct guys, there will be no changes even if you select this thing as yes. Why? Because two requirements is needed to be fulfilled. First thing is like, you will need to buy the license of Ariba APIs, and you will need a Java resource to code within those APIs. Then only it will work. Okay. Now within the approvers, I'm going to come into the approver, but before that, approval rule flow type. Let's say uh, user 1 is present in first group, user 2 and 3 is present in the second group. So in the parallel, who is needed to be approved, which user, and in serial, which user is going to approve? Okay, correct. So it can be either user 1 and user 2 or 3 in parallel. Correct. And in serial? Correct, correct. Remember this thing guys, the difference is like user 2 or user 3 which are present within the group, either one has to approve. Now it does not matter whether it's in serial or in parallel, right? Either of this user approves, both in serial or in parallel, the approval for that particular level will get approved. But what's the difference then between the parallel and serial? So in serial, always remember group 1, that is user 1 has to approve first, then user 2 or 3. But in parallel, both the groups will be triggered at the same time. So user 2 can also come at the first and approve it, then user 1 can come and approve it. So that's the difference and nothing else. Custom, as you know, it's not used directly over here. Why? Because it's still a work in progress. Yeah, and one more query is okay. I think there is one more query. Let me just see. Yeah. So yeah. So Prem, basically the thing is like, see, if you want to move this particular approval for the contract from Ariba to S4 HANA system, let's say that is your requirement. So what you are going to do, you are going to ask your client that please buy Ariba API license. So what will happen? Immediately your client will go to Ariba and they will say, I want to buy the API. Once your client is saying that they want to buy APIs, Ariba APIs, they need to pay some money. Once the money has been paid, so then all the login details and other stuff for Ariba APIs will be provided to the client. Then your clients need to hire a Java resource. And that particular Java resource will do what? They will write their coding in the APIs. Then only it will work. But remember, the license has to be bought by the client, not by the software partner implementation. See, we are working for the software partner implementation company, so they don't need to buy it. Who need to buy this thing? The client. Okay, so before we go further over here, let me show you generally which approvers are added over here. So the first approver is always going to be the contract approver over here by default. Okay, next is whom? Next is always the legal team. Third is whom? Always the finance team. And the fourth is whom? Generally you should not add it. Generally you should not add it. But as I said, 80% of the time client will say that I don't want to use professional template. That means this vice president don't need to, you don't need to answer to that particular question, that whether the approval is for vice president is required or not. If it is not required, then only you're going to put the fourth approver. Else, if you're going to use the professional template, in that case, you can select yes or no. If you say vice president approval is required, then you don't need to configure this vice president. But if you're saying yes, vice president approval is required and I'm going to follow the basic template only, then you have to put the area vice president also over here. But remember, if you're using professional template, then you don't need to add this area vice president. Only 3 level is more than enough. But since you're talking about the basic things, you need to add all this 4 level. For professional, only till finance. That's it. Okay. Next is, what is the concept of due date, guys? Now let's say if I put 5 days over here and nobody approves within the 5 days, what will happen? I think everybody knows that task will get lapsed. So what we need to do as a buyer, so that once again the approval can be completed and the contract can be published. Any guess, guys? So you need to go to the contract, not in the template, within the contract. And while you are in the contract, what you need to go is like, you need to go to the task. Once again, what you need to do is like, you need to click on start task or mark started. And then you need to re-trigger by clicking on a new round. Once you click on the new round, then automatically what will happen? Once again, approval will get triggered. So that is the concept of due dates over here and nothing else. Okay. Obviously, this will be a required field. Okay. Now, repeat for each document draft. So what do you think? It should be yes or no, guys? And if it is yes, why it is yes? Or if it is no, why it is no? Any guess, guys? Repeat for each document draft. Correct, Tanmay. So always remember, repeat for each document draft should be yes. If you click this thing as no, then first time there will be approval. Means first time when you are creating the contract. Second time, if you are editing the contract, if you click this thing as no, there will be no approval. So always remember, you can change contract at any time. So this option, repeat for each document draft, this should always be selected as yes. Never ever select it as no. Okay. So this is the basic configuration, guys, which we generally will do within our contract template over here. Now, any question, guys, if you're having, please raise your hands. We are going to take your question and we are going to clear your queries. Yeah, Tanmay, can you please go ahead with your query?
Yeah, so Manoj, for this screen, actually, can you show the process wherein the due date is lapsed, like the task for approval is lapsed, and the path you showed, like go into the contract and begin round again. Can you just show that quickly?
Okay, so
Is that possible right now?
basically what you can do is like, Tanmay, you can check it, but I will tell you, I will show
Okay,
you
okay,
rather in the contract where
okay.
you need to go and where you need to
Ha ha.
click on
Yes, yes.
reactivate over here. Okay,
Yeah.
that will be much more fruitful.
Yes. 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 Yes.
Yeah, so what you need to do is like you need to go for contract over here. Now
Okay.
let's say this particular contract is totally triggered over here, right? So here it will come with the issue, so you cannot change it. Why? Because this particular Acha, no, I
But the
cannot take it. Why?
tasks
Because this particular thing is already published. Why?
published
Because this has
exactly.
been approved over here. So what I will do is like I will
Yes. Yes.
create a contract workspace without RFP. So it will be pretty much easy
Okay.
for us to check.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Today is the effective date. Expiration date we are not going to put. We are going to
Okay.
select the no and no.
Okay.
I think no, not this one. First one we have to select. Okay.
So Manoj, like I'm not one quick question. See,
Yeah.
we can add VP approval in our task also, right? Approval task, and we can select, in professional template there is also option of VP approval.
Exactly.
So what happens if we select both? Like, or I know it is it
so,
becomes
so,
redundant.
so, so basically, in the first approval task over there, by default, you're taking VP's approval,
Correct.
right? In the second
Correct. Correct.
approval task, also by default, there will be only one level, and that level will be vice president only. So he has to approve
Okay.
twice, and you cannot
Okay.
say
Okay. Okay.
that with one approval you have to complete. Why? Because there are two complete or two complete tasks,
Yes, yes,
different tasks.
yes, yes.
So
So
that's the
they will
issue.
appear as two different. Okay, okay, fine, fine.
Yeah,
Okay, go ahead, Manoj. Sorry for disturbing.
yeah. So let me just complete this as mark completed. Let me just go over here. Okay. Now here, what you will do is like, let's say you have put
Mm,
a view task detail over here, and
okay,
you have put a fixed date as, let's say, if you put zero over here, okay, or
Okay.
maybe one over here. Okay, and you will click on submit. Okay, now here what will happen is like it is coming as in approval, and there will be one
Okay.
due date. And once the
Okay.
due date is done, what will happen is like, see, it will come like this, and there will be no approval option appearing over here. So let's say you are the
Okay.
contract approver, you will be not having that particular option approve or reject. Why? Because the due date is passed. So as a buyer,
Okay.
see, approver cannot do this thing. As a buyer, you have to come over here. What you have to do is
Okay.
like you need to click on this one. You need to click on once more view task detail.
Okay.
Okay, so here,
Okay.
see, deny and approve will not come. So what will happen is like you need to click on the exit. You need to click
Okay.
on edit task once more.
Okay.
Okay, so within the edit task, what will happen is like you will put another, let's say, 3 days as a due date.
Okay.
Okay, why? Because you have to change this thing.
Okay.
Once you change on this thing and you click on OK over here, then what will happen
Done.
again? It will come into the in approval with the new due date.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Okay, so it will always come like this. So always remember this thing, that whenever this particular task is getting overdue, so what will happen? Approver cannot do anything. They even cannot change the task. So what you have to do, you have to come over here. Okay, click on edit task. Once you click on edit task, then what you need to do is like you need to select a new date. Either you hard code the date by selecting the date, or by just
Okay.
giving number of days over there, 3 days or 4 days, and then you click on OK. Once you click on OK, what will happen? The new approval will get once again triggered over here, with the new due date over here. So then
S-
again approver can approve it.
So Manoj,
Mhm.
for example, before approval process, there are multiple tasks, right? Before the
Mhm.
final approval and publish. So
Mhm.
if the tasks are in like independent dependent on each other,
Mhm.
and we are so the due date is today and it is already lapsed. So and we are extending the date.
Mhm.
So my question is like, does that impact previous tasks which are already completed, uh,
No,
or
no, no,
they are
no.
any?
See.
Okay,
First of all, if you look at all the tasks before final approval, that has
they're
already
already
been completed. They are already
okay. Okay.
completed, but due to some issue, this approver was
Mhm.
not able to give the approval within time.
Correct.
Otherwise, if you would not like all of those documents, say let's say the approver is saying the document is not in proper format, that particular
Mhm.
approver would have rejected, right? Rejected the
Okay.
document. So in that
Okay.
case, what you need to do is like you have to go over here, and you need to click on, sorry, you need to click on over here, and you need to come over here, and you need to once again click on new round. So what will happen?
Okay. 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 Okay.
So what will happen if I click on new round over here? So this particular thing will get automatically triggered over here.
Re-triggered. Okay, got it. Yeah, actually, I wanted to know this part actually. New
Yeah,
round. Okay. Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
New round will get triggered, or in this case, remember, new round will be present till what time? New round will be
Okay.
present
Okay.
until and unless you complete all of the tasks. Now see, it is not
Okay.
coming as completed.
Correct. Correct.
So
Correct.
same thing you can do it over here, but that is only
Oh.
for rejected case.
Yes. 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 Got it.
In
New round
rejected,
is only for rejected case.
new round is for rejection over here. That's the first thing. And second thing is like,
Okay.
let's say if somebody is not able to give his approval or her approval within the due date, then what will happen?
Mm-hmm.
Then
You can
you are
change the
going to,
date.
you need to
Yes.
go to the approval task, click
Edit.
on edit
Yes.
task, and change the due date and
Yes.
submit it. Once you submit it, new approval will get triggered. So that is the
Correct.
process for missing approval. But let's say your task has been rejected by the approver, then how to
Correct.
retrigger those tasks? By clicking on the new round.
Okay. Okay. Got it. Got it, Manoj. So the next question, Manoj, you
Yes.
said that you can control, which document is delivered to whom. Say the example you showed, like the pricing
No,
internal
no, no, no,
document.
no, no. Generally, we cannot control it. We are using the standard architecture over here. And what is the standard architecture? That anything
Uh,
within the contract document and any
okay.
document which is linked with the standard task will be sent to the supplier.
Okay.
Okay.
So
So
when we are creating a custom task, there we can control who gets the document. Is that so?
no. So there
Okay.
we are only saying that this will be visible to the buyer. Now, if you want to
Okay.
make it visible to the supplier, then we have
Got
to
it. Got it.
make those things
Mm-hmm.
appear within the contract documents. So that's the
Got it.
difference. So remember,
Yeah,
standard
I
document
understood
and a custom
the.
document is quite different.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I understood that Manoj. Ki within contract folder, if you are placing something, the whole set will go to the supplier.
exactly.
Okay. Apart from that, you can differentiate. Okay.
Yeah,
Last question, Manoj. So
yeah.
the approval, flow, the serial and parallel and the
Mhm.
custom one. So you said the custom approval is still work in progress. So I mean, is this the version stability issue or that? I mean, we
It's
should use it or
no, generally we should avoid it. Why? Because as I
okay.
said before over here in our first session, that there is a difference between the approval between upstream and
Okay.
downstream. In
Oh,
upstream,
okay. Okay.
basically, what approval we are doing? Actually, most of the participants, most of you will be thinking this is a full-fledged approval, but actually this is not a full-fledged approval. It's a
Yes.
approval
Yes.
task. But
Correct.
when
Correct.
we
Correct.
will go into the downstream, there we will see a separate template just for
Okay.
configuring the
Okay.
approval workflow over there. So that is
Okay.
why
Okay.
it is
This
advanced
is
features like
just
those things are available in downstream.
okay. 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 This is just for a single task, so it's not so impactful. Okay. Okay. Got it.
Yeah,
Got it. Got it. Thank you, Manoj. Thank you.
yeah. Welcome, Tanmay. Yeah, just a minute over here, guys. Yeah, uh, guys. Any person, any other guys you're having queries, please raise your hand. We are going to rectify, or we are going to, remove your doubts or concern over here. So please raise your hand if you're having any query. Okay, I think there is no other queries raised by any other participants over here. So guys, I think we can conclude our session for the day. Okay, why? Because we have completed with our contract template creation and configuration over here. Tomorrow, guys, be ready for the contract compliance and reporting functionalities over there. We are going to see both of them. So tomorrow's session will be a slightly extended one. Be prepared for that. I think today's session was like almost a normal session. Why? Because previous all the sessions have been extended, right? By at least 45 minutes to 1 hour. Yeah. So basically, this particular thing is like guys, tomorrow we are going to complete the contract compliance and reporting, and by default tomorrow is the completion of 50% of our training. Why? Because upstream and reporting we are finishing by tomorrow. Next week onwards we are going to start with our downstream. Remember, there in the second part of our training we are not only having downstream, we are having downstream and integration. And remember, as I said guys, we generally don't begin with integration. Why? Because it's the most complex scenarios over there. So first, once we complete the upstream, then we will complete the downstream, then we will go to the integration. Now there in the integration, when I will be telling you about the scenarios, I'm discussing about the scenarios, then I will discuss about the configuration, then it will all make sense. Otherwise, what will happen is like you will be scratching your head, Manoj, which scenario you're talking about? Why you're talking about this particular scenario? So this thing has generally it has happened previously. So that is why we follow this particular methodology. Okay, guys. So tomorrow we are going to once again meet at what time? Meet at the same time. Okay, just a minute. Give me a moment over here. We are so tomorrow, guys, we are going to meet once again at the same time, and tomorrow's topic is contract compliance and the reporting options over here. Okay, and thanks Aili for coordinating and conducting this session, and thank all of you guys for attending this session. We are going to meet once again tomorrow at the same time. Yeah, thank you guys. Let's conclude our session for the day. Bye guys.